In the face of an increasingly complex maritime strategic environment, has the Chinese Navy's Type 052D destroyer hit its performance ceiling? Does its shortcomings in self-sustainability and range signal a revolution in ship upgrades to come? Since the first ship was commissioned in 2014, the Type 052D destroyer has rapidly become the core force of the Chinese Navy's surface fleet with a displacement of more than 7,000 tons and balanced combat capability. As of April 2025, the massive scale of 28 ships in service and more than 10 under construction is a testament to the Navy's recognition of its comprehensive combat performance. However, when official data reveals its 4,000 nautical mile range and 15-day self-sustainability, the ship, which has been hailed as the Chinese Divine Shield, reveals significant limitations in its ocean-going capabilities. Compared to the 7,000 nautical mile range claimed by Japan's Atago-class destroyers, the ship has the same range as South Korea's Sejongdaeng. Endurance in South Korea's Sejongdaeng class of 5,500 nautical miles. The 052D's ocean-going endurance is clearly difficult to meet the strategic needs of the future Deep Blue Navy. The roots of this design limitation can be traced back to the early 21st century technical conditions and strategic positioning 50 Todd project when the Chinese Navy from yellow water to green water critical period. The design team in the 7,000-ton platform to meet the new active phased array radar power needs, but also for the Eagle 18 anti-ship missiles and Red Flag 9B air defense missiles to leave room for upgrading, resulting in the choice of power system into the dilemma. The final use of diesel fuel alternating power program, 2 sets of localized QC280 gas turbines, and 2 sets of MTU-20V956TB92 diesel engine combination, although it can provide 30 knots maximum speed. But the diesel engine propulsion, when the range efficiency is only 0.16 nautical miles, ton of fuel, significantly lower than the U.S. Burke-class destroyer's 0.21 nautical miles, ton of fuel efficiency. The ship's length-to-breadth ratio of 8.37 slender line shape is conducive to high-speed performance, but the middle deck and Class 6C state of 3.2 meters amplitude of the transverse rocking, affecting the shipborne helicopter landing and weapons launching accuracy. The comparison with the Atago-class destroyers of the Japanese Navy is even more revealing. Despite their similar tonnage, the Japanese ship with all-fuel combined power is configured with 4 LM2500 gas turbines to achieve 7,000 nautical miles, 19 knots of endurance while maintaining a speed of 31 knots. The secret lies in Mitsubishi Heavy Industries' unique hull design, a short, fat line shape with an aspect ratio of 7.6, combined with a bulbous bow that reduces hydrodynamic drag by 12%, complemented by a fuel loading capacity of 5,700 tons, successfully balancing the contradiction between speed and range. This difference was exposed in the Diaoyu Island standoff between Chinese and Japanese ships in 2024, when both ships circled around at an economic speed of 18 knots. The 052D was alerted of its fuel balance after 96 hours. While the Atago class was still able to maintain its standoff capability for more than 200 hours, technical bottlenecks are forcing China's shipbuilding industry to open a new cycle of innovation. 2025 Jiangnan shipyard out of the technical program, known as the 052E improved displacement, will be raised to 8,500 tons through the hull extension of 6 meters, 1.2 meters wider to reduce the aspect ratio of 8.0. which not only increases fuel reserves by 400 tons, but also allows the middle of the deck to reduce the amplitude of the transverse rocking to 2.1 m. The 052D's power system is revolutionary, as shown by the power system of the 052E. Revolutionary upgrades to the powertrain are seen in the combination of the CGT30M gas turbine and a new generation of medium-voltage DC integrated electric power system, which delivers 58 megawatts (MW) of total power, 12 MW of which is used for the directed energy weapon system. Although the number of pitot tube units remains at 64, the depth has been increased from 9 meters to 9.6 meters, which is compatible with the 1,500-kilometer range Hawk 21 hypersonic anti-ship missile, realizing a generational leap in single-ship firepower projection capability. This kind of small steps fast-running type of technology iteration, in fact, implicit in the deep logic of China's naval strategic transformation. When a carrier battle group is routinely deployed out of the second island chain, escort ships need to have a self-sustainability of more than 45 days to match the carrier's 90-day deployment cycle. 50 Todd's current self-sustainability of 15 days, even if prolonged by replenishment at sea, is still difficult to cope with high-intensity confrontation environments. When the U.S. Destroyer USS Mirius crossed the Taiwan Strait in 2023. The 052D Chansha, which was ordered to monitor the situation, was in a 72-hour standoff. When the U.S. destroyer, Milius, crossed the Taiwan Strait in 2023, the 052D Chansha ship, which was ordered to monitor the situation, had to be replaced by a ship of the same type after a 72-hour standoff, exposing the shortcomings of the sustained combat capability. The design of the new generation of ships has increased the per capita area of the habitation cabin from 3.2 square meters to 4.5 square meters, supplemented by the expansion of the desalination system and a 30% increase in the capacity of the cold storage, so that the physiological tolerance time of officers and soldiers in oceanic deployments has been extended from 15 days to 28 days. The repositioning of the ship's tonnage and function reflects the structural change of the Chinese Navy's combat system. 55 Type 10,000-ton large drive batch service, in fact, has built up a 055 plus 052D high and low collocation mode, the former by virtue of the 112 pitot tube and dual-band radar to assume the command core of the formation, which focuses on tactical tasks such as anti-aircraft and anti-submarine. However, with the generation of electromagnetic artillery, laser anti-missile and other new quality combat forces, the 7,000-ton platform is difficult to carry the energy needs of future wars. The white paper on power requirements for high-energy weapons shipboarding, released by the Naval Engineering University in 2024, points out that a single shipboard laser weapon system requires an instantaneous power supply of 15 megawatts when operating at full power, which is equivalent to 70% of the power load of the entire 052D ship. The next generation destroyer's power system design margin must reach 3 times the current level in order to support the launch cooling energy storage cycle of combat rhythm. In this quiet naval revolution, China's naval industry has shown a unique path of innovation. Unlike the U.S. Jumboldt-class destroyer subversive design of technical risk, also different from Russia's 22,350 frigate, stuck in the power system of the long delay, Chinese designers chose to implement the mature platform, surgical, improvement. 50-toe Type 052D continued the overall layout and construction process, but through the modular design of the power module, the replacement of a new type of gas turbine from the traditional 18 months to 9 months. Traditional 18 months compressed to 9 months. This progressive innovation strategy in maintaining the fleet size advantage at the same time, so that the single ship combat power to 5% compound annual growth rate steadily increased. The formation of rivals difficult to deal with the sustained compression type development. Standing in the Chinese Navy towards the deep blue historical node to look back, 052D destroyer is both the peak of the old era, but also the new era of paving the way. The combination of its 64-unit vertical hair system and 346A radar has allowed China to obtain the first regional air defense capability of strategic security, and its shortcomings exposed in oceanic deployments have spawned a new generation of ships more adapted to the future of naval warfare. When the Fujian ship carrier in the waters east of Guam to carry out carrier aircraft group attack and defense drills, the escort fleet quietly appeared in the improvement of the destroyer, is using its enhanced range and power reserves, riding the Chinese Navy from coastal defense to global presence of the chapter of transformation. Behind this silent upgrade is the deep understanding of a maritime power, on the right to control the sea, in the waves and waves of the warships. Its every design improvement is the national will and industrial strength of the double projection.